Hi and welcome to WQLN Homeroom. I'm Miss Sarah and I am so excited that you decided to join me today. Today and all of this week we have talking about what's cooking. I'm sure you've been cooking all kinds of fun things and learning about all the different types of food that are out there. But today we're going to talk about some food all around the world. So I have a bunch of different foods that you may know some of them, but they're not from around here, but we still eat them anyways. And we're going to look at a map, and we're also going to do a fun project today and make ourselves a passport. So here is what my passport looks like. It kind of looks like a suitcase, but it opens up inside. So we're going to be making a passport together today, and as we travel around the world and learn about all kinds of new foods and new places, we're going to get to use our passport that we make today, and we're going to give ourselves a stamp or a check mark or a smiley face next to each place that we visit. So I hope that you're very, very excited to do all of those things. I know that I'm super excited to be here with you today because I get to learn a whole bunch of new things while you all get to learn something new today too. So I know we're gonna have a lot of fun. So we're gonna start out today with making our passport craft so that we can use it throughout the rest of the lesson today as we are learning. So I'm gonna go and get all of my materials and all of the things that I need for my passport craft, and I'll meet you right back here to get that started. Okay, so I have all of my stuff that I'm going to need for this craft, and we don't need a lot of items for this one today. You are going to start out and need 2 pieces of construction paper, one for the passport and one for the handle. It doesn't matter what color. These are the 2 colors I had, red and orange, so those are the ones that we are going to use. You also need some markers or crayon or colored pencil, anything that you have at home that you can use to write with, you will need that. You will also need some scissors and some tape or some glue for this craft today. Now, if you don't have all of this stuff right now, that's okay. You can always go on to WQLN.org and find the directions on how to make your own passport, and you can do it later on when you have all of the things. But we're gonna start out today by making this passport, so we're going to take 1 piece of our construction paper. That's going to be the suitcase part, or the part that we're going to mark as we travel around the world today. You're going to take it and you are going to fold it in half, hamburger style, which means the short way. You're gonna fold it in half just like this. Now this is going to be your suitcase passport part, so it should open up like a mouth. So we're gonna take this part and we're gonna go ahead and decorate this part first so that it is ready to go when we need it for our passport as we're traveling around the world. So I want you, as you have your paper, you need to make sure you write your name on it, because if we don't have our name on it, how are we going to know if it is ours? How are they going to know in the airport that it is your passport? So you're gonna write your name on your passport, because when you are traveling around the world, you have to use this passport so that they know that you are who you are supposed to be. And as you travel around the world with a passport, they will give you stamps on your passport showing that you've traveled to different places. So today, as we are making our passport and using our passport as we travel, we're going to give ourselves our own little stamps as we travel along. So I have mine with my name on it. I'm gonna write the word passport on here. Passport starts with letter P. So if you wanna write passport on yours, you might need an adult to help you with that. But here is my passport. Now we are going to open it up on the inside, and I want you to give yourself 4 little stars or circle or whatever, because we're going to be traveling to 4 different places today. Now, I'm going to tell you the places that we're going to talk about and travel today. We are going to be talking about some foods that you may find in Mexico, some foods you might find in Italy, some foods from China, and also the last one is a food from Thailand. So we're gonna be traveling all around the world. So you're gonna be going to 4 different places with me today. So I put 4 different stars. If you wanna write the places on there, you can have an adult help you write them. Now that I have those, I'm going to take my other piece of paper and I'm going to make the strap for my suitcase or my passport. So you are going to cut a half half of a circle out on your paper, okay? So I'm cutting half of a circle. Now remember, I'm going really quick. When you do it, you can take your time and be more precise. So I have half a circle. Now I'm gonna cut out a small half a circle so that it looks like a strap for my passport or my suitcase. So it kind of looks like a rainbow. Now I'm gonna take my rainbow and I'm gonna tape it to the inside of my passport, and my passport will be all ready to go. Now here is my finished passport that I'm gonna be using today while we're talking about all the places that we are traveling. It has the places we are going inside. Now remember I said we were going to go to Mexico, Italy, China, and Thailand to talk about some of those foods today. I also decorated the top of my passport so you can do that too. So this is our passport that we are going to use. Now before we start traveling all around the world, I thought it would be fun to read a silly story. It's a fiction story, so it's not a real story, but it's about eating since we are talking about food today. And the story that I'm going to read to you and share with you today is called How Do Dinosaurs Eat Their Food? We're going to take a look at this one now. This is a silly story. Remember, it's a made-up story because this dinosaur is going to do some silly things that we would not normally do. So it's time to read our story. Are you ready? Okay, so let's read our story. How do dinosaurs eat their food? Dinosaur eat all his food? Does he burp, does he belch, or make noises quite rude? Uh-oh. Does he pick at his cereal, throw down his cup, hoping to make someone else pick it up? That's not very nice. Does he fuss, does he fidget, or squirm in his chair? Does he flip his spaghetti high in the air? How do you think your mom or dad would feel if you were throwing spaghetti at the ceiling? I know my mom would not be very happy. I would definitely have to be cleaning up that big mess. Oops. Does a dinosaur glare? Let me see your glare. Glare means to look angry. Show me your glare face. Ugh, good job. How does a dinosaur eat all his food? Does he spit out his broccoli partially chewed? Ew, gross. Does he bubble his milk? Are you supposed to blow bubbles in your milk? No. Stick beans up his nose? Does he squeeze juicy oranges with his big fat toes? Uh-oh. No, he says please and thank you. He sits very still. Now remember, we just talked about last week all about manners and using our manners, and this monster, or this dinosaur says please and thank you, which is using great manners. He eats all before him with smiles and goodwill. He tries every new thing, at least one small bite. He makes no loud noises. That isn't polite. He never drops anything onto the floor, and after he's finished, he asks for some more. Eat up, little dinosaur. So in this story, there's one part that it says that the dinosaur takes at least one small bite. Now sometimes when you are eating new foods, it can be kind of scary because you may not know if you like the food or not. So just like the dinosaur did in the story, the best way to try new foods is to just take one small bite of everything. If you don't take a small bite, you'll never know if you like it or not. So some of the foods that we're going to talk about today as we travel around the world may be foods that you don't think that you like. But if mom or dad or grandma or grandpa made them, maybe you would like them if you took one small bite. So we are going to get started and begin our travels around the world today to talk about some new foods, or maybe some foods that you already know that are from all around the world. Now, when you travel to places around the world, I said that you need your passport. So make sure that you have your passport sitting close by, because we're going to need that today. But to travel places around the world, sometimes you use a car or a train. But if you're going somewhere really, really far away, you would get onto an airplane. So we are going to pretend that we are on an airplane today, and we are going to travel to those 4 places: Mexico, Italy, China, and Thailand that I said today. So let's pretend together that we are in an airplane. So we're sitting in our chair with our back against our airplane chair. And before you take off in an airplane, you need to remember to put your seatbelt on. So let's put our seatbelt on. Click. Good job. Now, when you go up in an airplane, it goes really fast and really high, so you might get pushed back a little bit. So we're riding in our airplane, up, up, up. Put your hands up to the sky like an airplane would go, and whew, now we are high in the sky, and we are traveling to our first place today, which is going to be Mexico. We are traveling to Mexico. So find your passport, and I want you to, if you had mom or dad write Mexico in the inside, you can just put a star or a smiley face, something near it, to show that we are traveling to Mexico is our first place. Remember, I said that at the airport they will give you a stamp on your passport. So Mexico is the first place we are traveling to. Now, there are lots and lots of foods that you might find in Mexico, so I'm going to show you a couple right now. Okay, so I have all of my foods, and I'm going to show you the 2 that we're talking about today about Mexico. So something that you might eat a lot of at home would be tacos. Tacos are one of my favorite foods. So tacos or tortillas are a food that you would find a lot in Mexico. Now, this is a food that I'm sure you have at least seen, if not eaten, or maybe you even love it like I do. So tortillas are something that you find in Mexico. Now, the other thing is I just have a jar of enchilada sauce, but enchiladas are another food that you might find in Mexico. They use a tortilla and they wrap some kind of meat inside of it, and then they pour this delicious sauce on top of it. So that's something that you might find in Mexico. Can you think of another food that maybe you would find in Mexico? Or a food that you have heard eaten before that is from Mexico? Maybe a burrito, anything like that. Those are all from Mexico. Now, remember, all of the foods are so different around the world. They're so different around the world. So the next place that we're going to travel and talk about is Italy. And Italy, they are all known for their pasta. So get out your passport, because we are traveling to a new place. We are going to travel to Italy and look at the pasta that they have. So here's Italy on mine. So I'm going to give myself another smiley face on my passport to show that I've traveled to somewhere new. So I'm going to set my passport off to the side. I'm going to move our stuff from Mexico, our tortillas and our enchilada sauce. And the next thing that you might find in Italy is pasta. And I love pasta. Pasta is one of my favorite foods. So here is some fettuccine noodles. They're not cooked. Now, have you ever felt what not cooked pasta feels like? If you haven't, you should ask mom or dad or grandma or grandpa to let you feel some. It's very hard. You can tap it on the table. It's not soft and wiggly like cooked pasta is. It doesn't turn that until after you cook it. So pasta is a food that you would find in Italy that I bet a lot of you eat. And another food that you would find in Italy is tomatoes. Do you like tomatoes? Because there's a lot of people that do not like tomatoes. So here's a tomato. Now, tomatoes are what color? Color is this? Yes, this tomato is red. Now, not all tomatoes are red, but the tomatoes that I have today are red. So tomatoes and pasta are all foods that you would find traveling around the world. And remember, I said that the foods that we're talking about today are foods that we eat here, but maybe are not from around here. They have magically made their way here for us. Okay, the next place that we are traveling to, which means we're doing another travel, on our airplane is to China. So we're traveling to China now. So if you are marking your passport with me, go ahead and give yourself another smiley face for a new place that we're traveling to. We are traveling to China. Now, the food that we're talking about today from China is rice. Now I have my rice in a container because I didn't want it to roll all over the place. But rice, just like pasta, is hard before you cook it. Now this rice is cooked, so it is soft. But before I cooked it, it was nice and hard like the pasta. If you were in China, you would eat a lot of rice. And rice is so good for you. Rice is one of my favorite foods. Do you like rice? Have you tried rice? Rice is such a great food for you. You can add it with all kinds of different things and eat it. It's delicious. Okay, the last food that we're gonna talk about today, before we move on and make our own special food to try today, is peanuts. So we are going to travel to Thailand. So go ahead, we're gonna pretend we get back on that airplane. So sit back down in your airplane chair, buckle yourself in, and we're gonna fly in the sky all the way to Thailand. So if you have your passport, go ahead and mark that last star or circle or Thailand if you wrote it with some kind of symbol so that you know that you've traveled to all 4 places that we're talking about today. Here's my passport. It's all full of all of the places that we're talking about and the foods that we're talking about. Now the food that we're talking about right now is peanuts, specifically cashews. Have you ever had a cashew before? Cashews are a food that can be found in Thailand and are used in lots of different recipes. They make sauces out of cashews and nuts. They make all sorts of things with peanuts, where here in the United States, sometimes we just pour the peanuts in our hand and eat them. We don't really make a lot of sauces or things to put on top of food with peanuts, but if you were in Thailand, you would use peanuts to do that. So I want you to look at all of these foods. We have the peanuts and the rice, tomatoes and pasta and tortillas and sauce. These are all things that we eat here, but are not originally from the United States. Isn't it so cool that all of these foods that we enjoy here are maybe not from around here? I think that's a very cool thing. But now that we've been talking about all of these different foods, I'm pretty hungry. So as a special treat today, we're going to make a treat together that you can enjoy. It's a healthy snack and something that I love to eat. Now, the snack that we're making today is has a silly name, and it is called ants on a log. Have you ever heard of ants on a log? Well, if you haven't, we are going to make it right now. So I'm gonna get the materials and I'm gonna teach you how you can make ants on a log and have a nice, healthy snack at home. So here we go. Okay, so I said that we were going to make a special treat today. Now, we're gonna make a special treat and then you can enjoy your treat while I show you another book of some different foods and some places around the world that have all kinds of different foods. So if you have these materials at home, I'm gonna tell you it so you can eat your snack along with us. Now, this is called ants on a log, and it's a really delicious, healthy treat. So the first thing you're gonna need is some celery. So you're gonna take your celery, and this is something that you are going to need an adult to help you with because you are not old enough to use something sharp like a knife. So you're gonna take your celery and just cut it into some small little slices. I cut 3 slices, but you could cut as many as you need. You're also gonna need some peanut butter, and you could use raisins or chocolate chips. Now, I have chocolate chips at my house, so I'm gonna use chocolate chips, but a lot of times people will use raisins for this healthy treat. So you are going to take your celery and your peanut butter, and you are going to scoop some peanut butter out of the jar and put it on the inside of your celery. So if you like celery and peanut butter, which is one of my favorite snacks, you will definitely love these ants on a log. Do you think you know why these are called ants on a log? I'm gonna tell you. They're called ants on a log because the celery is long and skinny, like a log, it's like a bench, and the peanut butter is just on there to hold the ingredients on the top, but the ants are supposed to be like the chocolate chips or the raisins that you use. So I have my celery all filled with my peanut butter, and then I'm gonna take some chocolate chips. You only need a couple for each slice. You don't wanna overload it. And I'm just going to stick my ants or my peanut butter, my chocolate chips on top of my peanut butter and celery logs. Now this is a delicious, healthy treat that you can make at home and enjoy for a snack anytime that you would like. Now that I have my ants on a log almost finished, it is time to take a look at our book today, a different book. Now the story I'm going to show you now is a nonfiction book, which means that it is real. And I'm going to show you some different places that we didn't pretend to travel to today and learn about. So here's my ants on a log, and this is a delicious snack that I am going to enjoy later. But if you made this snack, you can enjoy it while I show you my book with all kinds of different places. So let me get my book and show you. Okay, so here is my book, the last book that we're going to take a look today, and this one is called What's on Your Plate? Exploring the World of Food. Now we have talked about all today about how there are so many different types of food in the world and how each one comes from a different place. And we pretended to travel to Mexico and China and all kinds of different places. Now on the inside of this book is a map of the world and some of the different continents that you might travel to. So like this big green one right here, this is Asia. So these are all the different places that you might travel around the world. Have you seen a map before? I bet you have seen a map before. Now there's all kinds of different places in this book that we could take a look at. The first place is the United States, which is where we live, and there's all kinds of different foods and places and things in the United States. Some of the foods that it talks about on this page that we have in the United States are wheat and apples or grapes. How many of you like to eat apples or grapes or fruit? That's some of my favorite foods. The next place in our book is Mexico, which is the place that we talked about, and we said what food comes from Mexico? Yeah, tacos. So you can make all kinds of recipes and things from Mexico that you would like, but one of the most common things that you might like would be tacos. That's something that they eat a lot of times. There's all different types of places around the world. Like Italy is one of the other places we talked about. So here is what Italy looks like on the map. Now I want you to look at this one because Italy is in the shape of a boot. It kind of looks like the shape of a boot. And we talked about that there are tomatoes and pasta that comes from Italy. All of those delicious treats that you love to enjoy, those are all from Italy. There's other places in here, like Ethiopia is a place that we did not talk about, but they have coffee and corn, all kinds of foods that maybe you see mom or dad eat at home. We have Greece is another place that you might see, and Greece is known for their watermelon and olives, especially people love olives. Do you like olives? Olives are not a food that I love too much, but a lot of people like them. There's so many places around the world that we could have talked about today, so I only picked a few. Thailand was the last place that we talked about for the cashews, but some of the other things that they are known for are crabs or limes or squid. Do you think that you would want to eat a squid? I don't know about you, but I'm not so sure about that. There are so many different places and things that we could eat around the world, and I wish that we had more time to learn together and discover all of the things that we could be eating and trying. Now we remember, just like in our story with the dinosaur, if you are somewhere at a restaurant or somebody's house and they offer you a new food that you're not quite sure about because you've never eaten and you don't know if you'll like it, that's okay. Be brave like the dinosaur and take one small bite. I bet 9 times out of 10 you'll like the food, but if you don't like the food, then at least you can say that you tried it. And trying it and being brave is one of the most important things that you could do. Now, I had so much fun today talking all about traveling around the world, getting to make the passport, and you can use that pretend passport if you're playing inside, pretending that you're traveling. You could travel to all kinds of different places in the world. I wish that we had more time today to talk about other places, but we are all out of time for today. So, until next time, I hope that you remember to keep reading, keep learning, and keep watching WQLN Homeroom, where learning is brought to life. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!